It's the 28th of the month. Payday is the 1st. 3 days away, you open your banking app and you already know it's going to hurt before the number even loads. $112. That's it. That's what stands between you and Friday. So you do the math. You've done 100 times. Gas to get to work. The minimum on the credit card that's due Thursday. Maybe groceries if you stretch it. You can make it. Barely. As long as nothing happens and then your phone buzzes. It's a text from the mechanic. Your car needs a new alternator. $450. And just like that, the whole month detonates. Here's what I want you to notice about that moment. The problem was never really the $450. Cars break, kids get sick, the dishwasher dies, life sends you a $450 surprise every couple of months, and it always will. That part is normal. The problem is that you had nothing standing between you and the $450. No cushion, no gap, no buffer. The money coming in and the money going out were lined up so perfectly that one unexpected bill knocked the whole thing over like a row of dominoes. And that's the thing almost nobody explains to you. There is one specific financial milestone, one move that takes that exact moment, the car repair text moment, and turns it from a catastrophe into a non-event. It's called getting one paycheck ahead, a full month ahead of your own bills. And the month you finally pull it off, everything changes, not because you suddenly have more money. You don't, but because for the first time, the timing is on your side instead of against you. School never taught you this, obviously. But here's the part that's a little more sinister. A whole industry quietly depends on you never getting ahead. When you're living at zero, you are incredibly profitable to other people. You overdraft your account. That's a fee. Around $35 every single time. You pay a bill late, that's a late fee. You float the gap on a credit card, that's interest. Usually north of 20% APR. Banks collected billions of dollars in overdraft and related fees last year alone. None of that happens to people with a buffer. So when nobody hands you the playbook for getting a month ahead, understand that it's not entirely an accident. The system runs smoother when you stay exactly where you are, and everyone loves to talk about the big version of this, the 6-month emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses fully funded, ready for anything. Great advice. Completely true and completely useless to someone with $112 in their account, because it sounds about as achievable as flying to the moon. So people hear 6 months, feel it's impossible, and do nothing. They skip the one step that actually is achievable, the first month, the first paycheck ahead. So here's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to show you exactly what a paycheck ahead means, why this one move changes your entire financial life. And I mean the way you think, not just the numbers in your account. And then how to actually build it even if you're starting from broke right now. Most people will live their entire lives one bad week away from disaster, on a treadmill they could have stepped off years ago. You're watching this, which means you're already the type of person who's about to step off it. And at the end, I'll walk you through a real example. A normal person making $3,200 a month, and show you exactly how they built this from zero and what changed when they did. Quick thing before we dive in. As we go through this, be honest with yourself about your own number. Don't flinch from it. That honesty is the whole game. Let's define this clearly, because people mix it up. Living paycheck to paycheck means the money you earn this month is the money you spend this month. It comes in and it's already spoken for. Sometimes it's spoken for before it even arrives. Getting one paycheck ahead, a month ahead, means you flip that. You build up one full month of expenses sitting in your account untouched. And from that point on, you live on last month's money. The paycheck you earn in June doesn't get spent in June. It just sits there and waits, and you pay June's bills with the money you earned in May. Say it to yourself slowly, because this is the whole idea. You're not spending this month's money, you're spending last month's. That 1 month gap sounds small. It is not small. That gap is the difference between a life that reacts and a life that decides. Let me show you everything it changes. Here's the thing most people get completely backwards. They think living paycheck to paycheck is about how much they earn. If I just made more, I'd be fine. But you already know that's not the whole story, because you know people who make great money and are still broke on the 28th. Lifestyle expands to swallow whatever comes in. Living paycheck to paycheck is at its core a timing problem. Picture a bucket. Water pours in from a pipe at the top. That's your income. Water drains out from a pipe at the bottom. That's your expenses. And right now, those two pipes are set at almost exactly the same height. The water level barely moves, which is fine until the bucket gets bumped. A bill lands 3 days early. A paycheck posts a day late. A $450 alternator. The water sloshes, and because the level was already at the brim, it spills over the edge. That spill is your overdraft, your late fee, your panic. A paycheck ahead doesn't change how much water flows in or out. The pipes stay exactly where they are. It just raises the water level so there's room at the top. Now when the bucket gets bumped, and it will, the water sloshes around and settles back down. Nothing spills. Same income. Same expenses. Completely different life. Because it was never really about the volume. It was about the timing. Let's talk about what living at zero is actually costing you right now. This month, there's a brutal little truth in personal finance. Being broke is expensive. When you have no buffer, you pay for it constantly in ways that don't show up as a single obvious bill. The overdraft when a charge hits before the deposit clears. The late fee when you push a payment to after payday. The interest when you float groceries on a credit card until Friday. The convenience of buy now, pay later because you can't absorb the full price today. Add it up across a year, and a lot of people are bleeding hundreds, sometimes over $1,000, purely as a penalty for having no cushion. It's like a cover charge for the privilege of being broke. You pay just to get in the door. Now here's the beautiful part. When you build that 1 month buffer, all of it stops. Every fee, every bit of float interest, gone. Which means the buffer doesn't just protect you, it pays for itself. The money you stop hemorrhaging in fees is money that goes towards staying ahead. You climb out of the hole, and the hole stops charging you rent. This is the one nobody is ready for, and it's the most important thing in this whole video, so stay with me. When you live at zero, your brain is never fully off the clock. There's a low hum of money stress running in the background of everything. At dinner with friends, you're doing math. Your kid needs new shoes, and your first thought isn't what kind, it's which bill do I push to make room. A text from an unknown number makes your stomach drop because it might be a bill. There's actual research on this. When you're under financial scarcity, your mind tunnels. It locks onto the immediate crisis and loses the ability to think about anything beyond it. It's like trying to plan a road trip while the car is on fire. You can't think about the destination. You can only think about the flames. That's not a character flaw. That's what being at zero does to a human brain. Now here's what happens the month you get a paycheck ahead. The fire goes out, the hum gets quiet, and for the first time you make financial decisions from a calm place instead of a panicked one. You stop asking, can I survive this purchase? And start asking, is this purchase actually worth it? Those are completely different questions, and only one of them leads anywhere good. This is the line I want you to remember. The buffer doesn't make you richer. It makes you calm, and calm is where every good financial decision you'll ever make comes from. Let me say that again, because people skip right past it. The buffer doesn't make you richer, it makes you calm. And calm is where every good financial decision comes from. You can't budget your way to wealth while your brain is on fire. You put the fire out first. The buffer is the fire extinguisher. Here's one that sneaks up on you. When you need your next paycheck to survive, and I mean need it, like the lights go off without it, you have zero leverage anywhere in your life. You can't push back on a boss who's out of line because you can't afford to rock the boat. You can't wait for the better job offer because you need income now, so you take the first thing that comes. You can't take a swing at the side project or the business idea because there's no room for a single bad month. Every door marked risk is bolted shut because you can't survive being wrong even once. A month ahead is the first crack of daylight under that door. It's not freedom yet. 1 month isn't going to let you quit and tell your boss what you really think. Let's be honest, but it's the first inch of it. It's the first time in your adult life that losing a paycheck means I have a month to figure this out instead of I'm in crisis tonight. Because the people who get to make bold moves with their money and their careers aren't braver than you. They just have a floor under them. The buffer is you building your first floor. Let's zoom out to the long game for a second. You've probably tried to get ahead before. Most people have. You scrape together a little savings, you feel good about it, and then the transmission goes, or the medical bill lands, and it all gets wiped out and you're back to zero. Again, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, forever. The reason isn't that you're bad with money, it's that you were trying to build on quicksand. You can't pour a foundation on ground that keeps collapsing. Every time you start to build, the next emergency swallows it. The 1 month buffer is the first slab of solid concrete. Once it's there, your emergencies stop coming out of your progress and start coming out of your buffer. The car repair doesn't eat your savings anymore. It eats the cushion, and then you refill the cushion and keep going. That's the moment your net worth finally stops resetting to zero and actually starts to climb. Because nothing can compound while it keeps getting knocked back to the start. The buffer is what lets the line finally point up and stay up. Okay. By now, some of you are thinking, this all sounds great, but how am I supposed to save a whole month of expenses when I can barely cover this month? Fair. Let's deal with it head on. The mistake is picturing this as one giant leap. Like you have to wake up one morning and magically have $2,800 sitting there. If that's the picture in your head, of course it feels impossible. You don't build the buffer in one jump, you build it in slivers. And the secret weapon is money that was never part of your monthly rhythm in the first place. The money you don't already count on. The tax refund, the extra paycheck in the months you get 3 instead of 2, if you're paid every 2 weeks, that happens twice a year, and most people just absorb it into normal spending without noticing. A bonus, selling the stuff in your closet and your garage that you haven't touched in 2 years. A temporary deliberate cut to your single biggest variable expense, not forever, just for the few months it takes to get over the line. None of those alone builds the buffer. All of them together, aimed at one target, builds it faster than you'd believe. You're not trying to be a monk for the rest of your life. You're sprinting for a few months to clear one wall. Then you're done, and you never have to do it again. Here's the actual playbook. 5 steps. Step 1, find your number, not your fantasy budget. 1 month of your real, bare minimum expenses. The stuff that doesn't stop: rent, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments. That total is your target. Write it down today. Step 2, open a separate account for it. This is not optional, and here's why. If the buffer sits in your everyday checking account, it isn't a buffer. It's just a slightly bigger balance, and you will spend it without realizing. Put it somewhere one click away. A separate savings account, ideally at a different bank, far enough that you have to decide to touch it. Step 3, aim every sliver at it. Refund, extra paycheck, the temporary expense cut, the stuff you sell. All of it goes to the buffer account and nowhere else until you hit your number. This is the sprint. Step 4, flip your accounting. The moment that account holds 1 full month of expenses, something quietly profound happens. You're now a month ahead. From here on, this month's bills get paid from money you earned last month. You stopped catching the paycheck midair and started letting it land first. Step 5, defend it like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. The buffer is not spending money. It is not extra. It is the floor you stand on. If a real emergency forces you to dip into it, that's exactly what it's there for. But the very next surplus you get goes straight back to refilling it before anything else. That's the whole thing. Find the number, separate it, sprint to it, flip your thinking, defend it forever. One warning, because this is where people fall. The danger isn't only failing to build the buffer, it's building it and then quietly giving it back. The month you get ahead, you feel a wave of relief, and relief is dangerous because it whispers that you've made it and you can ease off. Suddenly that cushion looks like found money. A want starts dressing itself up as a need, and slowly, a little at a time, the buffer leaks back out and you slide right back to the brim of the bucket. So draw a hard line in your head right now before you ever get there. The buffer is sacred. It is the one thing you protect first and replenish fastest. You work too hard for that calm to hand it back for something you'll forget you bought in a month. Let me make all of this real with one person. Pretty normal situation. Jordan is 31, lives in Columbus, Ohio, works a full-time job, takes home $3,200 a month. After everything, Jordan spends about $3,050, which leaves a surplus of around $150, razor thin. Jordan's 1 month bare minimum number, rent, utilities, groceries, car, insurance, phone, minimum debt payments, comes out to about $2,800. That's the buffer target. Before, Jordan keeps around $200 in checking and lives on the edge of it all month. Then, on the 28th, the alternator dies. $450. With no buffer, it goes on a credit card at 24% interest. The account overdrafts twice before payday, and between fees and interest, the real cost of that repair balloons past $520. Worse, Jordan starts the next month already behind, and the cycle resets. Sound familiar? That was Jordan's life for years. Then Jordan decided to do this on purpose, and it took about 5 months. A tax refund came in, $1,500 straight to the buffer account. It was a 3-paycheck month in the spring. That extra check, about $1,400, also went straight in instead of being absorbed. Jordan cut dining out from $300 a month down to $50 for 4 months. That's $1,000, and a weekend of selling old gear and furniture brought in another $400. That's $4,300 in slivers, none of it heroic, more than enough to clear the $2,800 target with room to spare. 5 months of intention, and the wall was behind them. After. Same job. Same $3,200 coming in. Same $3,050 going out. Jordan is not richer by a single dollar of income. But now there's a full month sitting in a separate account, and Jordan lives on last month's money. And in August, the car breaks again. Of course it does. A $400 repair, this time, it's paid from the buffer the same day. No card, no interest, no overdraft, no fee. Jordan refills the buffer over the next 2 months out of normal surplus, and that's the end of it. The exact same event that detonated the whole month a year ago is now a Tuesday errand, a non-event. Nothing about Jordan's income changed. The only thing that changed was the timing, and with it, everything else. The stress, the fees, the way Jordan sleeps, the way Jordan makes decisions. That's what 1 paycheck ahead actually buys you. So here's what I want you to do this week. Today, if you can, find your number, 1 month of bare minimum expenses, write it down so it's real and not a vague feeling. Then open a separate account and aim the very next sliver of money you get. The next refund, the next extra check, the next thing you sell. Straight at it. Don't wait to do it all at once. Start the first brick. Some of you just did the math and the number feels huge. I know. The first month is the hardest dollar you'll ever save. It's also the most important because it's the one that changes the game underneath you. Remember where we started, the 28th. $112 in the account. The text from the mechanic. The whole month falling apart over $450 you couldn't absorb. The month you get one paycheck ahead, that text comes in and you don't even feel your pulse change. You just pay it, refill the cushion, and get on with your day. Same you, same paycheck, completely different life. Go build your first month. I promise it's the move that changes everything. If you need help saving, earning, and budgeting your money, I've included links to some useful resources in the description below.